Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we got a little bit of an educational video. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make the perfect fire starters if you have an indoor wood stove. We're going to go over how to make them first, and then I'll demonstrate how they work for you at the end of the video. All you're going to need for this is some bacon. Doesn't have to be maple flavored. That's just what I had. A coffee mug, and then some sort of absorbent material. I like to use paper towels because they happen to be the perfect size. You could use napkins. A rag would probably work. If you had an old t-shirt that you were going to throw away, you could use little strips of that. And you don't even have to use a coffee cup. Anything that will be able to sustain heat. So you could use a glass cup would probably work. You could use a glass bowl, a ceramic bowl. Anything that's not plastic should be fine. So first we want to add our bacon to the pan. Turn it on. Doesn't really matter what temperature you cook the bacon at. Just cook the bacon to your liking. What we're really looking for here is the bacon grease. So ideally, you would want to cook it as crisply as you can because that's going to render more fat out of it, but it's not going to make a huge difference in the end. While the bacon fat is rendering down, I'll show you guys how I like to roll up these paper towels. I like these because one paper towel is the perfect size. You just take it. I like to fold it instead of rolling it so it has like more of a flat profile. But I just fold it all the way down the length of the paper towel. So you have something like this, and then just fold that right in half. Just like that. And then I put them in upside down so that when you dump the grease, it can go right down in between all the layers of the paper towel. Go ahead and repeat that with as many paper towels as you have. When you're done, you should have something that looks like this. You could always go through and just cut these in half, and then you'd have twice as many fire starters, but each one would have half the burn time. So it's just paper towels and bacon grease. It's way cheaper than any fire starter briquettes you're gonna buy at the store, so I just use them as a full. It's just paper towels and bacon grease, but I mean, with the economy these days, even that's getting pretty expensive, so. Our bacon is coming along pretty nice. Good enough. Kind of overcooked the bacon on the bottom, but that's fine for the purposes of this video. Get all of our bacon out here. Fun fact, you can use this paper towel as a fire starter too after you eat the bacon. The more you know. We're gonna let this grease cool down until I stop seeing like smoke rising off of it. We can enjoy some bacon while we wait. It's hot. I don't know why the bacon like all kind of came apart into like bits like this, but hey, tastes like bacon. I keep burning my fingers. Can you dance? Come on. Get it, Jazz. Get it. Come on. Good girl. Get it. Usually she stands up. She's getting a little old. The rest of the gremlins. Gentle. Watch. This is the only one that'll bite. Our bacon grease is cooled enough, so we're going to dump it into the cup with all of the paper towels that we rolled up earlier. Now, I like to use a strainer for this step, but it's not necessary. If you don't use a strainer, you'll just get these little pieces of bacon grizzle in your fire starters, which is no big deal. They still work just fine with these in them. It just looks a little bit better, in my opinion, if it doesn't have little chunks of bacon floating around in it. So what you want to do is just dump it right over the tops. Try to hit each one. Don't want to spill it on your counter though. And you don't have to use all the grease. You don't want them overly saturated. You can see these ones, I did a little bit too much, and you can see the grease leaked off and it's around in the bottom. I'll just add some more paper towels to this to soak that grease up. But right here, this is about perfect. You can see it's about fully saturated. There's a little dry spot there. It'll fully absorb throughout itself if you let them sit for a little bit. We're gonna let these cool down a little bit more, and then I'll show you how to start a fire with them outside while it's raining with wet wood. So you can see I already have a pretty good fire going in my indoor fireplace. And while I already have a fire inside, this is the perfect opportunity to demonstrate their capabilities in a frozen climate. Nice layer of ice on top of some snow. And it's also raining, as you can see. Very light, but it is raining. Everything's wet outside. Here's our fire starting kit. One bacon wrap or bacon grease soaked paper towel and some 10-year-old matches from my friend's wedding. Now, I mentioned one use and I'm about to demonstrate a second use, but there's tons of uses for these fire starters. They'd be perfect for lighting your charcoal when you're grilling in the summer. They'd be perfect for just lighting a general campfire if you're out camping. They're good for lighting a fire to roast marshmallows in the backyard in one of those fire pits. There's countless uses. Okay, so I'm out at my scrap wood pile. I'm gonna take this. It's kind of dry on the inside. We're gonna set this down as a base. As a matter of fact, we could just do this right here. Of course, it's not dry anymore. We'll put that down as our base. Going for a little, oh boy, just post hold. Going for a little bit of a walk to look for some drier, dead wood. Like these branches look perfect right here. These dead branches on this tree. Because this stuff's nice and dry and it'll burn good. Sometimes you don't find everything you're looking for in the first spot and you have to keep looking around a little bit. All right, we have our base. We're gonna come in with some of the driest stuff that we have right on top of that. Add our bacon fire starter. I like to kind of separate it a little bit to help prop the wood up, and then I light these two ends. We're just gonna go ahead and throw this right on top. Now, this is all wet wood. You can see had ice on it, even though it's the dry stuff that I just got off of that tree. Everything around here is wet and covered with ice. So let's see if we can get this lit. And you can see just like that, we got a nice fire going. I mean, this is literally wet piece. You see it's wet underneath the bark. Put it on. You can see all the steam coming off of them as they're drying out. We're getting some nice coals built up down there. Now, it is worth mentioning that you do need more of like an open flame to get these lit. It might not work with like a ferro rod or a flint and steel. It may work with the magnesium shavings on top of it, but you know, that's why I prefer to use them for my indoor fireplace. I think they're just a cool little novelty thing to have around. It's a nice thing to use the bacon grease for instead of just throwing it out in the yard or throwing it in the garbage or something. And it makes a nice bacon smell when you first light it. So that's always a plus too, especially if you're using them indoors. Everyone comes running out like, who's cooking bacon? Nope, just lit the wood stove. As always, thanks for tuning in to Tyler Larson 24/7. Of course, now you can tell it's really raining. I got to go plow my driveway. Drop a like, comment something that you liked about this video or something that could have been improved on this video, or even something that you want to see in a future video. Right here, you can hit to subscribe, and right here should be a video that YouTube thinks that you'll like recommended from my channel.